Hello there. Hi there. Hello. All right. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with bluescitypickin, and if you're new here, I'm a part-time reseller. Goes around to garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, mostly thrift stores apparently this week, and finds things to flip for a profit on the eBay. This is what sold on November 14th and 15th. I had 16 sales on those 2 days. A little bit slower than the last week, but that's okay. I'm still super happy with it. This is Ching number 82. We are in the midst of Q4. I have been accepting a lot of offers, especially on old stuff. Things that have not moved for quite some time. I am moving them out and making better choices in the future, even if I don't make a lot of money on it. Like there's one thing in here that I made hardly anything on that it took me time to package, and I'm like, no. As much as I loved it and thought they were cool, I'm not gonna buy them again. Because they just didn't move for me. Or if I found them for very, very cheap, maybe I would buy them again, but I don't know for sure. Like I said, 16 things that went out over this 2-day period. I had $485.76 in gross sales. That is, let's see, with shipping and taxes. The sales price that we agreed upon with the buyer was $337.65. Purchase price was $64.94, so that was my cost of goods that I had into these. And then my profit was $198.62. So a 58.8% margin, which is pretty good. And I'm hopeful that once I get some of these older things out that I made mistakes on, I don't really consider it a mistake. I didn't make as much money on, and I learned a lesson that that margin will continue to improve. I had several things that sold the same day that I listed them, and then I had something that took 430 days to sell, which was my lowest profit item of the week. Average is 75. That's very low for me, given the last few weeks. I've been up in like the 140s to 180s, so not as much old inventory moving out over these 2 days. But it shows me that the things that I'm picking up more recently are selling, so that's good news. All right, let's get into it. First thing is this Nutcracker Women's Christmas Vintage Vest, 18W Toy Soldiers button up. It had black satin on the back. Super cute. I paid $3.07 for this at a regular Goodwill in September of 2024. It did not sell last season. So this season, when I got a $5 offer, I said, yes, please. And I lost 10 cents, but I got my $3 back. And that's more than I would have gotten back selling it at a garage sale, so I'm cool with it after 430 days, and I hope the buyer loves it. Next up is a lot of 2 vintage thick resin antique gold wall hangings. They were very MCM, floral tiles, plaques. I had all the words on this. I paid, I think, $4 a piece for them, and so my total with tax was $8.76. I recently lowered the price on these when I was doing my inventory, and so they sold for $14.95, and I made $1.81. Yeah, after 272 days. But I've learned my lesson. Those types of things don't sell for me, so don't pick them up, Carrie. Next is a vintage purple doll dress with hat. There were lace and ruffles. I had $2 into this from an auction lot back at the end of August. Got off offer for $8 that I just went ahead and accepted, and made $3.31 after 10 days. Next item is vintage 80s toddler winter snow mittens. These were pink with a puppy dog on them, and they had the string. I think in my last one I sold a lot of 3 of these. This one was enough to list on its own. I had $1 into this from an estate sale back in September. They sold for $6.50, so I made $4.03 after 35 days. Next item is something I didn't remember where I had bought it when I accepted the lower offer, and that's okay. I still made okay money on it, and it moved very quickly. This was a J. Jill Love Linen, 100% linen, open office career casual navy blue cardigan. I apparently paid $7 for this at a regular Goodwill on Halloween. I got an offer for $15, which I accepted and made $5 and a penny after 8 days. Next item is a lot of vintage trim, ribbon and bows. These were flocked, red velvet, holiday, Christmas, all the things. I picked these up at the bins back in July. Had a dollar cost of goods. They sold for $9.95, and so I made $5.30 after 116 days. Next is a fun bins pickup from just about a month ago. This is a Tom and Jerry coloring book. It was Marigold Press, 1989. It was one of the few that I saw that looked like this, so I did put hard to find on it. And I did say see pictures because there were some that were colored. So this was not a completely unused one, but all the pictures showed that, so I hope the buyer is happy with it. A dollar cost of goods. It sold for $12, and so I made $7.31 after 23 days. My picking partner laughed at me when I picked this up. I'm like, you watch, it's gonna sell. They're like, what? There's pages colored in it. Yeah, it doesn't matter, guys. Some of these old coloring books, super nostalgic. Don't sleep on them. I have sold many an old coloring book. I've sold Jim. I've sold Tom and Jerry. I've sold, gosh, I'll have to go look and put a picture up of the ones I've sold. Next up is also a recent pickup. This was a Toy Story boxcar, Lionel G scale gauge, train replacement, Disney Pixar red. I paid $2 for this one and $2 for another one at a regular Goodwill just a week ago. It sold for $15, and so I made $8.68 after just 5 days. Next up is a lot of 7 vintage sewing, fancy embroidered lace embellishment trim, off-white. Like, I pick this up at the bins all the time, and it always sells. Vintage sewing notions sell, whether it's beads, sequins, zippers, trim, like anything and everything you can think of will sell. I don't even remember if I have one still available at this point because I think all of them have sold. I have a dollar cost of goods into this from the bins back in August. It sold for $16.15, and so I made $10.29 after 74 days. So, point of clarification. My bins does not charge by the weight for these kinds of items, so I did not have, probably by weight, this would have cost way more than $1, but when I averaged out my cost of goods per item that day or per lot that I was listing, it was $1. So just in case you haven't watched one of my bins hauls and you don't know kind of how my local bins works. Next up is another bins pickup. This was a vintage Case Logic portable CD player, Discman soft padded travel carry case bag. I had $1 into this from just a few weeks ago. Same time I picked up that Tom and Jerry coloring book. It sold for $22. No, it sold for $17.10, and so I made $12.73 after 22 days. It was very clean, so that's why I picked it up. And I know that vintage physical media accessories are selling really well for me. I have sold like a couple of CD cases, like tape holders. Like I've sold many of a accoutrement to physical media, so don't sleep on it. Next up is a pair of women's Fry Melanie loafers, size 8, leather slip-on casual flats. I picked these up at the bins as well. These all came from the Hernando bins, a couple different trips though. I think I've been twice. This came at the end of September. I had $3 into these. They sold for $22, and so I made $14 after 44 days. Next up is one of the same day listings. So you have not seen this haul yet, but at my local Goodwill, they had put out some men's shoes, and they must have all come from the same person. They were all very nice shoes. and they were like new. Now they were marked up. These were a pair of Olakai Mio Lee men's 11 everyday athletic shoes, breathable mesh green lava rock. They didn't really even look like they'd ever been worn. Like the bottom had like enough dirt on it that maybe they wore them once. So I knew I was going to be able to get a little bit more than the average that these sell for. So I did pay $13.54 for them. They sold for $38, and so I made $18.40 the same day. Like I bought it on the 13th and it sold on the 14th because I listed them overnight, or I listed them within the day because I don't have a lot of back inventory right now, or back listings. I'm light on inventory right now, which is totally fine. So yeah, $18 in a day. Yeah, I'll take it. And I've got another pair that I'm going to show you in just a minute that were even better. Next is a nice find at a local Goodwill back in August. This was a new with tags and Taylor black and white plaid blazer, double button, size 14, which was a nice thing, and tweed. I thought about keeping this for myself, but I've got a bunch of blazers already, and I'm looking to supplement my wardrobe with something besides blazers right now. I paid $6.99 for this. It sold for $33, and so I made $20.53 after 80 days. I do not pick up a lot of Ann Taylor, but because this was a substantial piece, a really nice style, a nice size, and new with tags, it had a lot of things going for it that made me think that I would be able to get between $30 and $40 for it, and paying $6.99 and making between $30 and $40, I will do that all day. So super happy with that sale. Next up is another pair of shoes from that same day. I think I picked up like 5 pairs of shoes that day, 3 pairs of men's and a couple pairs of women's. So nice Goodwill shoe day that day. And some days I don't have any shoes. So I love selling shoes. I just feel like they're easy. They're so easy. If I could sell all shoes, I would. And I know some people do, but I think I'd get bored, and I don't find enough of that as inventory to do that either. So this is a brand I had never heard of. I looked at the shoes. I'm like, those look kind of nice. I looked in the shoes. I'm like, those feel kind of nice. And so I looked them up, and my eyes got real big, and I said, yep, those are going in the cart. This is a pair of Beckett Simonin, I don't know. Size 11 Rivera brown suede gum sole sneakers shoes. I paid $10.41 for these at the Goodwill on the 13th of November. I listed them for $79 because they weren't new. If they were new, they were very, very expensive. I got an offer for $60 just the same day I listed it. I could have sat on it, but I'm like, nah. So I made $36.74 within a day of them being listed, which is amazing. Next and last sale that we will go over today. This is out of my big kids clean out. It was so sad when she's like, I don't want this anymore. She reduced a lot of her larger Pokemon collectibles. She has kept a lot of her smaller ones, and she still has some other ones, but this was the big Funko Pop, like the mega one. It is 18 inches tall. This was Pikachu, number 1. He did not have his box. He was in really nice shape though. He's never been played with or anything like that. Nothing into him because we've had him probably for 4 or 5 years at this point. But he sold for $49, and so we made $41.08 after 75 days. So average profit per item for these 2 days was $12.41. I had roughly 8 items go out per day. Super happy with what's going on in the store right now. It's just really nice to see all of the hard work that I've put in start to come to fruition in Q4. I always have watched other resellers say that it is peaky for them. You just never know, kind of given what your store is. I don't know that it's as peaky for clothing sellers. More clothing sellers, they probably are more peaky with seasons than they are with holidays. But because I sell a little bit of everything, I get a nice blend of peakiness throughout the year, depending on what's going on. Like some of my clothes peak out during seasons, and then I have been selling a good amount of Christmas and clothing and toys and collectibles over the last few weeks. So super happy about that. Let's keep it going for another month. I could use it to get my inventory down because I'm still only listing roughly 5 a day. So this is helping kind of cull some of that older inventory, help me curate my store a little bit more and get rid of some of those older items. Let's see, where did my profits come from? They came from the Goodwill, y'all. 76% came from the Goodwill this week. Lots of more recent pickups. I have been to estate sales and yard sales and things like that a lot less frequently over the last few months. Work has been a little bit crazy, and so I have not been able to drive out of my 15-minute range at this point to go to some of the better sales and things like that, and even to get to the bins. I haven't been to the bins in over a month, which I'm kind of want to go, but kind of I'm just tired, and I would rather just drive 10 minutes, spend an hour, and then drive 10 minutes back and have a more pleasant, relaxing experience. So, yeah, and if there's an estate sale close to my house, I will go run to that sometimes. Like I ran to one yesterday and it was way overpriced, but I did find something really cute and amazing. Hold on, I'm gonna grab it because this is my favorite. So I'm a huge Disney person. You can probably tell by my background. If you can't, then, what have you been looking at? One of my favorite movies is Cinderella. I do have a couple of shelves dedicated that you just can't see it up there. But one of my favorite characters is Gus Gus. And look at little Gus Gus. Look, Gus Gus. He's the best. He's so cute. This is when he's picking up the pearls to make Cinderella's necklace. And it's called You Go Get Some Trimmins. So yeah, it is a Disney collection, Walt Disney collection classics. I don't know what you call them, but I don't care. He was the cutest. I paid $20 for him, and I have zero regrets, y'all. Zero regrets. And I picked up a couple of other things to resell there, but I spent $30 total, and 20 of it was on Gus Gus, and I was very, very happy. I'm a dork. And I did hit up a Goodwill yesterday. You will see that haul soon. I did a shop with me, so you'll get to see some video of me shopping too. The store was surprisingly chill and quiet, and I loved it. And so I did get a little bit of footage yesterday. How's your Q4 going? Are you rocking and rolling? Are you selling more than you're listing? Are you enjoying getting rid of old stuff? I feel like that was have I got a deal for you? Anyway, all right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.